Hey, everybody. It is Dr. Tamu. Oh boy, let me see if I can see what's happening on the Instagram. Mm-mm-mm. All right. Okay. So, hi, everyone. I'm just sorting out my Instagram camera. Okay, great. Hi, Learn SKN. Hi, First Class Research Solutions. Welcome. It's a little hard for me to see with the um, ring light. And interestingly enough, the ring light isn't showing in my other video. All right, well, let's see what we can do about that. So, hi, it's been a long time since I have done a live of any sort. So, welcome. Thank you for joining me. Oh, hey, Janelle. How you doing? All right. So, listen, I'm trying to use Melon. I'm trying to do all sorts of things on here. So let me make sure I can see the comments here. So let me show the chat there. All right. Okay, great. All right. So what's this? Nothing to see here. Okay. All right. You are live. All right, good. So I'm actually on my laptop over here. Hey, Noel, how you doing? I look pretty on Instagram Live. Yeah. May look so hot on um, the other channels. But anyway, I'm Dr. Tamu Petra Brown of Coaching by Tamu. I'm trying to do a million things at once, including mute my background noise. I can't get it done. So, yeah, sorry about that if you hear background noise. I don't know what is happening. All right, so if you're on with Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn, let me know in the chat. I'll be happy to tell you hello, etc. So do that in the chat. Let me know that you can hear me and all of that good stuff. So let me know if everybody can hear, and that will work for me. All right. So let me know if you can hear. Tell me I can hear. Put something in the chat, etc. Okay. So let me put that. Let me know if you can hear. All right. So what am I here to talk about? Well, okay, good. Let me know if you can hear. Good. I see it. I see you. I see it. Okay. So I'm here to talk about let me say, hey. Okay, thanks, First Class Research Solutions. Hey. I'm Dr. Tamu of Coaching by Tamu and Innovative Education and Training Solutions in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. I'm here, though, in my capacity as founder of Coaching by Tamu. And the whole purpose of Coaching by Tamu is to co-create with Caribbean entrepreneurs so that they can create profitable and innovative businesses that have worldwide reach or regional reach if that's what you desire. And the purpose is to create impact for them and the world. And so that Caribbean entrepreneurs who are as brilliant as any other entrepreneur, right, can pass along generational wealth because they've made so much money in their ventures. So that's really, what it is that I'm about. Now, I have been training, coaching, teaching, all sorts of things. in these entrepreneur streets, as they would say. So I've been working with entrepreneurs all throughout the region, from as far as Haiti all the way down to Trinidad and Tobago. I've worked with all sorts of organizations. I've worked with Caribbean Export, I've worked with CXC, I've worked with World Bank, I've worked with a whole bunch of people. That's not the point. The point is, because I've been doing this for a long time, I've realized, even for myself, because as I go along the journey, I don't just go along the journey um, for me, right? I go along for you, I go along the journey for me as well, because obviously I learn things when I go along the journey. And the more I interact with entrepreneurs, the more things I learn. Now, I'm going to call them the three M's, right? The three non negotiables. I'm going to call them the three M's. Let me get my notes. But I want you to put in the chat, whether you are on Instagram or you're listening to me here in on the other media. What do you think is the most critical thing to success in business? I want to hear from you. Let me know. What do you think is the most critical thing for you to succeed in business? Let me know in the chat what you think. What do you think? What do you think that is? All right. And when you're watching this on the replay, I'd love for you to put your comments in the box as well. Now, one of the most critical things is money, right? Now, long ago, well, maybe not so long, I used to talk about mindset. Yeah. I used to say mindset was the most critical thing. All right. So, First Class Research Solutions says being open to learning from your mistakes. I agree, but I don't think it's the most critical thing, right? And although you are open to your mistakes, you can't really implement what you have learned from those mistakes if you don't have any money. And let me tell you, I've been, out here training, doing all these things, right, for a while. But the thing is, you coach, you train, you do all of these things, but where's the money for the entrepreneur to implement all of the fantastic advice that you have provided? Where is the money that the entrepreneur requires in order to help innovate on the business model? Like, where is the money? And there is a dearth of money and a dearth, which means limited, way dearth of ways to really get the type of money that you need for growth. Because the thing is that if you don't have money, you're suffering from low economies of scale, you're suffering from working capital shortage, you're also suffering from the inability or cushion that is required to try new things and to try to innovate. Because if you're broke, you can't try nothing new. So then the question is, why aren't we, and I'll put myself in there as well, why aren't we as Caribbean entrepreneurs looking for money? Let me know. Are you out there actively, right, trying to raise money? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Are you out there actively trying to raise money? Let me know in the chat. So welcome. I see some people just coming on. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Nice to meet you. Yeah. So talk to me about that, right? Talk to me about that. So if money is one of the most critical things, hey, Butterfly Media, if money is one of the most critical things that you need and is non-negotiable for the success of your business, right? You will find, though, that when you coach, when you train, when you engage with entrepreneurs in all the ways that I do, they know they need money, but no one is actively seeking money. No one is actively trying to fundraise. Why do you think that is? Do you think it's cultural? Do you think it's fear? I want to throw out something that might be a little controversial. You know that I primarily work with female Caribbean entrepreneurs, right? Primarily on one-to-one basis, particularly. Do you think that gender has anything to do with this low propensity to seek out financing? Well, I can tell you what the research says. The research says that women entrepreneurs are always less likely to seek out capital from financial institutions or through equity and investors than men are. And there are many reasons for that that are sociocultural in nature, particularly for Caribbean people, that I don't necessarily want to talk about. But, this is a global finding, right? So I won't talk about the why that is so particularly in the Caribbean today. So the first non-negotiable is money. Now, if you needed, well, let's say you were able to, for someone, you had an investor on board, and they were able to write you a blank check for your business, right? Actually, let's not do a blank check, right? I want you to tell me in the chat if you had an investor who was willing to provide you with some funding right now. Could you tell me how much money you would ask for? So let's say there are no strings attached to this money that you're getting as an entrepreneur. Would you want to tell me what you would want, how much money you would ask for, and what would you use it for right now in your business? How much money you would ask for if you were able to get capital without any strings attached right now, and what would you use it for in your venture, right? Would you use it to grow your team? If you are a product business, would you use it to buy inventory? Would you use it to streamline your operations? What would you actually use the money for? And how much would you want? Yeah? How much would you want? Now, I've been finding, and I'll tell you, that I and myself and two co-founders, we are working on raising a fund, right? And so we're, basically just in the administration stages, finalizing those processes, right? To be able to, like incorporate, etc. And we're going to be matching businesses with investors and with money in general, right? And what is surprising in doing the research, let me not say most, many of the individuals who answer the research questions, when you ask them, well, if an investor was supposed to give you some funding, right? Or an investor, be they VC, it's most likely not going to be VC in our region. VC is venture capital. Most likely it's going to be angel financing, or that sort of thing. But whatever, investment, what are you willing to give up? And you'll be surprised how many people say they're not willing to give up anything. They want to get money from an investor, but they don't want to give up a percentage of ownership. They don't want to give a percent of revenue. So the question is, as Caribbean people who want to grow their business, is it that we have a mindset problem? Hey, Sasha, is it that we have a mindset problem? Sasha, you want to join? You decent? We could join, Let me know If you want to join, send me a request on IG because I'm over here. Yeah. Okay. On this as well. So the question on the table is, one of the non-negotiables for business is money. If you ain't have no money, you can't grow your business. But then the other question is, how much do you want and for what? And is the what suitable? And what I mean by that? What I mean by that is sometimes we are seeking to invest our scarce resources, borrowed or bootstrap. Bootstrap mean is your own money you reinvest in the areas that are not going to critically impact the bottom line and increase revenue and profit. And this is especially problematic if you're borrowing. You might be borrowing for the wrong thing, right? You might be borrowing for the wrong thing. So you might be saying, well, Tamu Petrol, what is the right thing? Well, the right thing to apply your money to is the thing that is going to amplify your voice in the market, your partnerships in the market, and will directly contribute to your bottom line. That's what you should be applying your money to, those sorts of things. So directly or indirectly. So a lot of times, some people, they say, and remember, every business is different. One, two, every industry is different. But when you look at things, you have clients that say, I need some money because I need to improve or increase the number of people on my team, which is important if you're going to grow, right? So for me, I'll give you an example. But then you say, okay, well, what is it that, who will you hire? What role will you fill? Okay. And let's say you manufacture bags, t-shirts, doesn't really matter. So let's say that you manufacture t-shirts, okay? And you have these haute couture shirts and demand is spiking, etc. But they'll say, you know what I need? I need more marketing. So I'm going to hire somebody to market for me. When you are the one sitting down and cutting out and sewing and designing t-shirts, but you think you need marketing, which doesn't really make sense because if you marketed, you wouldn't even be able to fill demand. So the thing is, you really need more of you. You need more people. You need manufacturing. You need equipment. You need whatever is required in order to have more capacity. Why? Because the greater capacity, right? Fuel, because people are asking for what you have, which means that your marketing is pretty good already, but you won't be able to supply because you've taken your resources and invested it in the wrong spaces and places. So a non-negotiable is money, but we are not asking ourselves if how much money we want, and we are not applying the money that we do get in the right spaces. Because you could get money and waste money too, and it don't help your business neither. All right. So that's the first non-negotiable. Now remember, Coaching by Tamu is about growth-based businesses. So the non-negotiables for another nature of type of client or customer archetype or venture might be different. But in my space, in working with entrepreneurs who are trying to grow their business, the first non-negotiable is you're going to need to raise money. The question is how, right? It all depends on how much money you want and what's available in the space, right? But oftentimes we're not even bootstrapping, which means we're not even reinvesting in our own businesses. Now, as a tip for reinvestment, because you're saying, well, me can't reinvest because the little money what me make, time me do this, buy materials, whatever, it's gone. So I use like a formula, and something I tell my clients. I use a formula where I allocate a specific percentage of the revenue that I get from every single thing, right? Every single invoice. across certain categories. And so for instance, operating expense, salary, etc., a percentage, right? And so you can allocate a certain percentage to reinvestment. So if you, for every $1,000 you make, let's say you say, you know what, I'm going to allocate 10% of this towards reinvestment. Then that's $100 every $1,000 that you make, and you put that aside in a separate account, and that makes it easier to bootstrap, right? But after a while, we begin, as we say in the Caribbean, how it does say spinning top in mud. If you are trying to grow and you not got no money, it's like, you're biting yourself. You're biting yourself. You have to figure out how are you going to raise more money. Okay. And you often do it phase. You might start small. Like if it's a little loan, you're thinking like, because this is what entrepreneurs tell me. And I understand they don't want a big loan, especially the women, because they are mothers and they don't really have help in the home. And they are afraid of taking on this debt when they have their children and so on to look after. So let me know if that resonates with you. So you might want to bootstrap, right? You might want to bootstrap. Which bank do you suggest we use for business only? I don't know that it matters because all the banks, the savings rate is it's really low. I would say that the bank that you use, and actually in other parts of the Caribbean, like Dominica, St. Lucia, etc., their credit unions are much more advanced than our credit unions, right? And so I will say financial institution. For business only is any financial institution that suits your need. So for instance, if you are in a period of collating, putting away money for a specific thing in your business, right? For a specific thing. So let's say that you want to buy a piece of equipment and you are allocating the 10% of every invoice, let's say. You probably want to put that aside in an account that you cannot readily touch. However, if you are in a phase of your business where you are using that reinvestment often for things like maybe marketing, for the purchase of inventory, etc., then you want it in something that's attached to your debit card, etc., so that you can use it easily. But in terms of interest, nobody pay interest. So credit unions pay the most interest. And the question is, how long will your money really be sitting there if you're doing business? Not really long. Yeah, not really long. So when we talk about a non-negotiable, when we're talking about money, we also have to talk about the other M, which is not, kind of a non-negotiable too, the mindset around the money, right? Sasha says, so the credit union it is. Yes. So we have to talk about our mindset towards the money and get comfortable with understanding that we will need money in order to grow. Now, the good thing is, in the Caribbean, I am finding that there are tons of, maybe tons is exaggeration, much more money available, right? From pitch competitions, from grants, especially from international financial institutions and some regional ones, that than there have ever been before. So the question is, do you know where the money is? And if you look at my social media, Facebook, yes, LinkedIn, Instagram, and you go to Tamu or you go to tamucoaching.com, you'll see that I've launched a newsletter where you can get information about what grants, pitch, competitions, maybe zero, whatever comes across my desk that is in the funding or money category, among other things. Because a lot of things just, come across my desk whether it's, in emails from contacts, etc. All right. So money and the mindset around money and questioning yourself as to how much do you really want to grow, right? Or are you just saying you want to grow? Because if you truly want to grow, your mindset around money and money is going to be required. All right. What do you think is the second non-negotiable? I say it's going to be three M's. So we dealt with money, and I'm putting like mindset as 1.5, right? Because mindset is like the overarching thing for everything. Okay, so mindset is like 1.5. So what do you think the other M is that is non-negotiable for business success? If you're trying to grow, especially in the Caribbean region, what do you think it is, man? Let me know in the chat on Instagram or here on LinkedIn, on YouTube. Where else am I? On Facebook Live. Yeah. So let me know. All right. So the other M is mentorship, right? And I like to talk about what the research say. Market. Well, you're already in the market, so but mentorship. And I like to talk about what the research say. What the research say? The research is important because when you understand the research, then you realize that what you're telling your clients is not like pulled out of thin air. All of this is based on experience and actual research. But the other M that is required is a non-negotiable if you want to really grow your business as a Caribbean entrepreneur is mentorship. Mentorship. And I remember having a conversation in an interview, I believe. I don't even know if it was an interview. I think it was like a post-interview discussion. I had just done a podcast or something. And the host, she's a wonderful Caribbean entrepreneur herself I won't give out, um, in Trinidad and Tobago. I won't say if it's Trinidad or Tobago. And we were discussing mentorship post podcast. And she had said like she didn't really want anybody telling her what to do. But that is not the nature of mentorship. And the research is clear that particularly for women, and hey, Produce Delight, what are you saying? What are you saying? Particularly for women and Black women, mentorship is critical because there are not many models in the space, right? There are not many models in the space. And for me, I feel like it really doesn't matter if you're a man, a woman, if you're non-binary or whatever. I think what matters is that you understand that people have trod where you want to trod, and that instead of taking the long route to the goalposts, that a mentor who has done what you are aiming to do can provide some valuable advice for you. Some valuable advice, and a mentor can open up their, nobody got Rolodex now, so let me say the contacts on the phone, they can open up their network to you to be able to access other things and other people to help you grow. Here's what about mentorship I'm going to tell you. Every mentor and every person who went where you want to go is not necessarily an appropriate mentor, right? The good news, though, is that because of social media, you can have access to what I call model mentorship as a first start. And when I say model mentorship, I'm really talking about looking at someone who is doing what you want to do and who is doing it excellently, or as I say, as a Tamuism, is swimming in their lake of genius, right? Be that on, IG, whatever, and they're just doing it. They're doing it. And you can really study their play, right? just like a team studies the play on the field. You can really study the aspects, right, of the areas in which you want to improve, that they excel at, and attempt to make that what I call a model mentorship. Of course, what you are going to be missing from that initial type of mentorship, right, is, of course, the personal relationship. But it's a great place to start. And why it's a great place to start is because a mentor might not, even if they were a live person, they would not be able to provide you the advice and the networks for all things in your business. And so that is why it's important to determine what is that aspect or area in your business currently that you need mentorship in, and seek out the mentor for that. So, for instance, you might want a mentor like who can talk to you about moving into new markets. But you might need another mentor as you grow your team. So let's say you've moved from, one person to 10 people to 20 to 200. You might need a mentor for team separate to a mentor for operations, separate to a mentor for visibility, for export readiness, etc. And so those are some myths around mentorship. Like, one mentor might not be good enough. And, it's like expecting somebody to be a superwoman. If you're hearing noise in the background, it's my annoying son washing dishes or something. All right. My apologies. Right. So you want to really, I would say, audit where you feel that you need to grow the most, and then seek a model mentor or seek out an actual mentor, right? From your network, from your, if you attend workshops, you can strike up a relationship with someone in your field who, or maybe not necessarily in your field, but someone with great business acumen, and study, right, what they do. Study what they do. All right, study what they do. But there is no need to be fumbling around and going without expert advice when a mentor can assist you, right? And as you grow, your mentors will change, as they should, because for every stage, you will need new mentors generally. So the two non-negotiables, 2.5, that we have so long. We have money, we don't talk that. We got mindset 1.5, but I say mindset is like overarching, like everything. And we have money. So the final non-negotiable, the final one is, I was struggling with the M, so I said meetups, but I didn't really want me. It's just because I wanted 3 M's. Okay, laugh after me if you must. But the other M, when I say meetups, is really network, right? Network. And listen, if you've ever listened to anything coaching by Tamu, you know that I talk about networks incessantly. Always. Yeah, always. Because you can't stress the importance of networks enough. But if you're new here, when you join, when you're watching the replay, I'm going to talk about it again. Okay? So, who you know, right? Remember, we always saying you get by through hookup, you get by through who you know, but the truth is the truth. But it is the nature of the network or the nature of the people you meet that determines how useful that network is to your business's growth, right? But the truth is, your voice cannot be amplified in other spaces without other people. You cannot know new things, right? If you are not introducing new people into your circle and learning from them, or just hearing what they have to say, they have new information that you do not, because they move in different spaces, right? That's how you find out what's going on. That's how you find out that, oh, there's a new grant program that you didn't know about. That's where they say, you know what, I signed up for this newsletter, and it has some great information, and you're on it. That's where somebody says, my brother or my sister-in-law works with so and so, and I think that this person would be a great person to assist you. You could never know that if you didn't have a network, right? But networking is an actual skill. And as you grow in your business, just as you are choosing the nature of your mentors or types of mentors based on where you are in your business and where you're trying to go. Actually, more the latter. Where you're trying to go and grow, right? That's how you choose your mentor. Well, the same thing is your network. You begin changing up your network, adding new people, cutting away other people in order to build a network that can help you grow. And so in the Caribbean region, we got a problem. When people do that, strategically create and remove, strategically, yeah, put together a network, which will mean getting rid of some people. And when I say getting rid, I mean you won't be spending as much time talking to them. You'll be moving in new circles. You'll be going to new events. What Caribbean people does say? Tell me in the chat wherever you are. What do Caribbean people say? Tell me, because you know what it does say. When you start to create new networks for yourself, you know what it does say. You know that they say, oh, you think you're better than, me. You believe you're big now. You believe you're high society. These are all the things that we say to one another as Caribbean people, when indeed what we are attempting to do is create networks that are going to help us in our entrepreneurial growth. That is something, That is something. Imagine that. So we as a culture, as a people, we shame one another for doing the things that we're actually supposed to be doing. We're actually supposed to be letting go of other people. We're actually supposed to be engaging in new spaces, going to new rooms, having new conversations strategically in order to build a network that will help us grow your business. And as a matter of fact, networks, hey, right? Listen to this, yeah. Networks can be more important than money. You're like, Dr. Tamu, what are you talking about? What you talking about, Tamu Petro? Because you started this live talking about money, right? Hey, let me see. Telly says true. You started this live talking about money. Eh? But the truth is, your network can get you money, provide you knowledge about how to get money, where to get money from. And I think a message that I want to send is mine. I'm talking to Caribbean people. Caribbean people. And the reason I'm saying that is because I don't even want to go down the sociocultural story. But the thing is, because of our unique history and culture, right? We operate in a way that is detrimental to business growth. We're fighting a lot of demons. We're fighting a lot of small society mindedness. We're fighting a lot of generational lessons that no longer serve us. We are hindered by plenty things. Plenty things. And so we have to begin to unlearn them things before we can begin to grow your business, right? We are hindered by people, the fear of risk. We're hindered by that. But the fear, especially for single women, I got it. I understand. Black women, brown women, all kind of women. If you're in the Caribbean and you're raising your children by yourself and you're not got the help, the fear can be warranted. Yeah. But some of us don't have them problems and we still ain't want to borrow nothing. We ain't want to bootstrap. We ain't want to take no risk. We ain't want to do nothing, right? Because as a people, especially as women, we have been taught to just do with just enough. Just enough, right? So Telly says we have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Yeah. So we out here as entrepreneurs saying, we want to do this, we want to do that. I suffer from this too. Eh? So it's in abusing you, abusing me too, right? We want this, we want this, we want all this money, we want all this thing, we want all the thing. But we want to do it in the old way. The old way is dead. The world don't change. The old way is dead, right? We don't want people to say, oh, who she thinks she be. You're afraid to launch out big and bold and be everywhere, right? Because you don't want the judgment. These are all, things that we have learned over time that are not helpful to us as people and certainly not helpful to us as entrepreneurs. We want to grow, but we want to remain in the same space. We want to grow, but we don't want to put down our almost last dollar to attend something in a new space for new stimuli. Remember, I was a teacher, eh? And in teaching, they have something called scaffolding. So scaffolding means building new knowledge on old knowledge. Now, if you're going to innovate, it's because you're actually synthesizing new things that inform the old things that you didn't know. But the truth is, culturally, when it comes to growing ourselves, Caribbean people are talking to, when it comes to growing ourselves, we are less likely to invest in that than we are to invest in other things. Yeah? So the question is, how are you going to innovate or build new things on old things, right? If you're not experiencing anything new. Many of us travel, but what are we doing? We're going to the mall. That is not going to help your business. You're not out there seeking out new resources, attending a free event, going to a workshop. You're not out here doing anything. And then we're still going to say that we want to build big business. We're not going to build big business, Caribbean people, by going mall. I'm talking to all you because I'm Caribbean and I know how we go. That is a cultural story that we have to get rid of. And so even though I'm talking about these non-negotiables like the money, the mentorship, the networks, and so on, the truth is none of these things will ever change because culturally we're like stuck, like slaves in the past and doing things the old way. We're also stuck on government entitlement. Now, government job is to stimulate economy and help create the ecosystem in which we exist. So I understand the barriers, VAT, customs duty, out your nose. Those things are not helpful. However, we have to sometimes decide that we're just gonna hustle and we might have to move spaces and places in order to do that. So I have a close friend. He's been my friend since we were children, right? Children. You know them ugly picture what has been in your album and you can't believe it looks so? Yeah. That's how long that we've been friends. And he has a green energy company and he actually moved to register his company in Jamaica and is now doing really big business. So the question is, and you might say, and I agree to some extent, it's easy for man to move and pick up and move. Woman them, it easy because a man they be and you home with the picnic them and you understand. I get it. But how many of you who are unencumbered by that have actually even contemplated? So we here in the region, and because I work, especially recently, I've been working with UE and UNDP and tourism entrepreneurs all across the Caribbean region, right? And so hundreds. The first cohort was like almost 200. The second cohort is like 40. And so you get to learn a lot about what's happening in other territories in your sessions because you're allowing people to engage, to talk, to discuss. And you're realizing that there are inputs in other countries that are cheaper than what we're trying to get them here for. There are other resources. There's loans. Dominica has an aid bank where they're giving like the equivalent of development bank, where they're giving loans, especially in the agricultural industry at 1%. So the question is, if you're from the OECS and you're really into the agro processing and these sort of things, you know that for OECS nationals, you can move and set up a business anyway. You don't got to live there. You just have to set up your business there and do some operations there. But we're not considering it, and it's cultural. We still have this kind of my little island is the best. So Cheyenne Nicole Smith says, I feel my business would be bigger overseas because it's new here, but I'm trying to get it out more. Yes, Cheyenne. I don't know what type of business you have, but certainly any way that you can get visibility would be great for you, right? How you amplify your voice. But sometimes the message we're amplifying is the wrong message. Let me see if I have a resource on that. I believe if you go to my site, tamucoaching.com, and you look up business models, understanding your business model, it's like a little workshop. It's like 30 US or something like that. I think that would be a great starting point, right? But the thing is, don't ignore your intuition, Cheyenne, right? Don't ignore it. And actually, in my, I even have it here with me, my Coaching by Tamu business planner, there's actually an intuition journal. There's some intuition journal pages in there because the intuition is our gut telling us what we need to hear, right? So don't ignore your intuition. Telly says over here, I can tell you my network is my net worth. I can't tell you how I have been able to scale because of my skill in networking. And it's really a skill. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you the truth. Before I did my doctorate, I finished that in like 2018. I believe I remember now, right? 2018. And I began studying networks. I didn't understand how important networks were. I really didn't, right? I did not. And it is through that and understanding the strategic importance of networks that really have changed lots for me, right? So it has allowed me to get jobs without ever advertising, like in my training and curriculum design, etc. It's through networks. I don't go nowhere. You never see an ad for innovative education and training yet, but I'm never not having work because people through my network hire me and talk about me in their other networks, right? And then I also learned so much. Telly is one of the persons who brought me into her network. And because of that, I was able to work with like World Bank and Pitch It Caribbean, etc. Right? I was able to work with Caribbean Export. And so you get these opportunities, and sometimes the opportunities are not money, but just being in spaces where you learn new things and meet new people that you can then leverage in order to do bigger things. Yeah? Kelly says facts. Yeah? So my rant tonight was about the fact that, yeah, you got these non-negotiable things. You need money, you need network, right? You need mentorship. Them things good. But the truth is, if we don't shift our generational mindset as Caribbean people, and hey, women out there, mommies out there, I'm a mother, my children big enough now, right? But you must allow your children as well to experiment, to grow, to do the non-traditional things and break this kind of generational stranglehold we have on innovation and creativity. Otherwise, this will continue and the region will never truly develop because we are stuck doing things that were suitable for plantation society and not fourth generation industry tech society. So we have to do bigger, we have to do better, and we have to radically shift our mindsets as Caribbean people. We have to be bold. We have to embrace the things we do not know. We have to seek out knowledge. We have to seek out how we going to get money. We have to do all of these things. We have to mentor. We have to collaborate. We have to do all the things that are not natural to us as regional people. Otherwise, we playing in a losing game. I know y'all ain't come out to hear that, but it's true. It's true. All right. So I'm going to end tonight. I'll try not to be a stranger. So send me in the comments, etc., something else you'd like to talk about. Actually, I have a client now through a program, and he is an artist, performing artist, that is, in the metaverse. And so I think I'm going to ask him to come on and really talk about that and the difficulty he is having in raising funding, right? Getting money, what exactly, right? From any entity, because ain't nobody in the Caribbean understand what he's talking about when he talk about the metaverse. So he gone to the back, metaverse, and like, well, what you said? Right? So we're going to also talk about that so that we can, open up our minds, get new ideas. I was so impressed with him. And so I've already asked him if he'll chat with me. So once our engagement is done, we'll come on and do that. So Cheyenne and Nicole, I'll follow you. So follow me so I can follow you back. At Sculpt by Stush is your business. What you can do as well for everybody who's coming on and will watch on the replay, if you go to my Instagram and my website, but if you go to my Instagram at Coaching by Tamu and you click the link in the bio, there is like a survey that you can take where you can indicate what your business challenges are, and I'll recommend, it automatically recommends based on the challenges you might have, some Coaching by Tamu resources that might assist you. And I also look over them just in case I think something else can assist you, and I'll follow up with an additional email. Now, once again, look for the newsletter link. I'll be, collating funding information, mentorship information as I come across them, and I'll send it out to you once you're on that newsletter. It's not going to be no fancy, pretty newsletter. It's just to get the information to you, and I'll put the deadline when things are, the closest deadline for something in the email in the subject, so like to act on it because things expire or are due May 31st or things like that. Actually, I think I have, let me see here, some things I can clue you in on. Let me go to this thing. So in St. Kitts, let's see what's happening. Ministry of Entertainment and Entrepreneurship, they're having like a Shark Tank type thing. You can win up to $10,000. That's happening. You have investors, they'll be coaching. by Coaching by Tamu and pitch competition, etc. And so that's one way to get some money. Let me see. I have some other things. Let me find them and let me tell you all what they are. I think some of the things are expiring soon. Also, She Trades. I think it's .org. She Trades. Yeah. They have a call for applications. So just Google up She Trades. They have a call for applications for if you want investment from entrepreneurs worldwide. So make a note of that. She Trades. So do that, right? Let me see what else I found this week. It looks like they don't want me to do more than one thing. There's also a Blue Innovation Grant, if I remember correctly. Let me see if I can find it here. Right, so that's happening, right? Yeah. All right, so let me see if I'm able to, it looks like my app, because I'm using this Melon app, it's not letting me be. Okay, let's see. Yeah, let's see. Okay, let me see what I've collected so far. So there's She Trades, there's Ministry of Entrepreneurship. The deadline for that, I believe, is the 31st or something like that. There's also Inter-American Foundation grant that is out. So make a note of that. Inter-American Foundation. That grant, I'll tell you all now, is for those of you who are into community development. So we have some entrepreneurs who run NGOs and that sort of thing. So if you, and St. Kitts is eligible, only Cuba, Venezuela, and Puerto Rico are ineligible. And there's also UNESCO, it's called Transcultura Call to boost entrepreneurial skills among young Caribbean creatives, right? And when is the deadline for this? The deadline is the 1st of June, and you can find this one on the Caribbean Export Development site, all right? So She Trades, Ministry of Entrepreneurship, if you're in St. Kitts, Caribbean Export site, there's a UNESCO grant, and there's a grant by the Inter-American Foundation as well. So check those out, and if you want more grants, network, mentorship, funding opportunities, go to my website and you will see on the sidebar the form to join my newsletter so you can get the updates. And on Instagram, the link is in the bio. So that's it for me, people. So for those of you who are going to be watching on the replay, hey, and make sure, even if you're on the replay, you leave comments and also tell me about, everybody, what you'd like me to discuss next time, maybe with a guest, because I know everything. I know plenty of things, but I know everything. All right. So everyone, thank you for joining me, and I'm going to end the stream. Bye. And do share with your friends, right? Your fellow entrepreneurs who weren't able to come on. So I'm going to end the Instagram stream first. There we go. And I'll share that. And I'm going to end y'all over here on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Bye-bye. And thank you for everyone who came. To everyone who came.